Hello, Infinite Audit friends. Implementing risk management and risk prediction can help companies or organizations save the cost while protecting the future. Because the right risk management plan will help companies establish procedures to avoid threats, minimize negative impacts, and overcome the kind of threats. In this 20-second episode, we will talk about how risk management practically makes company or organization more confident in making business decisions. In addition, we will also discuss about how strong corporate governance principle and focus on risk management can help achieve company goals. Okay, first thing first, let's go to the basic. By aim, I would like to ask what's basically risk management?
Okay, thank you, Bunga, for the introduction of today's topic and for the question too. I would like to answer your question regarding what is risk management process. And okay, hello, Infinite friends. We are back with the English edition of Infinite Audit Talk. We are always happy to do this. Okay, back to the question. So, risk management is systematic and structured processes which is supported by a risk-aware culture to manage organizational risk at a level that can be accepted to provide reasonable assurance in the achievement of organization goals. Bunga already mentioned about that. And the aim of the process itself is to increase the likelihood of achieving the vision, mission, organizational goals, and also performance improvement. And I have to also mention about that it can protect and increase organization value too. Okay, and I want to mention a bit about how risk management is important for internal auditors. So the Institute of Internal Auditors, by its IPPF, mentioned the role of internal auditor in risk management processes. The internal audit activity must evaluate the effectiveness and contribute to the improvement of risk management processes, and determining whether risk management processes are effective is a judgment resulting from the internal auditor's assessment that the first one is that in organizational objective support and align with the organization mission, and the second one is that significant risks are identified and assessed. The third one is that appropriate risk responses are selected that align with the organization risk appetite. And then the last one is that relevant risk information is captured and communicate in a timely manner across the organization, enabling staff, management, and the board to carry out their responsibilities. And but how the process of evaluation of the risk management processes by the internal audit function. So the internal audit activity may gather information to support this assessment during multiple engagements. The result of this engagement, when viewed together, provide an understanding of the organization risk management processes and their effectiveness. And also risk management processes are monitored through ongoing management activities, separate evaluation, or even both. We can see that internal auditors need to pay attention to risk management because it is indeed important for organization. We know that organizations are prone to risk. Businesses may face many risks that may hinder them from achieving their goals. That's why it is indeed essential for an organization to manage their risks. Okay, I already mentioned a bit about the reason why risk management is important. Bunga, if you don't mind, could you please elaborate it a bit? Besides, I want you to please explain how is the risk management process.
Wow, thank you. Sure, Mbak. Basically, risk management process carried out with the following flow. First thing first, the formulation of risk management system, and then the second one is risk management processes itself, and the last one is the monitoring and evaluation of risk management system. Now we will discuss the second core part. The risk management process is an integrated part of the overall management process, particularly strategic planning, performance management, budgeting, and of course, internal control system, and is integrated into the culture and business processes of the organization. The risk management process is applied periodically for 1 year and consists of the following stages: the communication and consultation, context formulation, risk identifications, risk analysis, risk evaluations, mitigation, and of course, monitoring and review. Communication is an activity of delivering information with the aim of increasing awareness and understanding of risk, while consultation is an activity to obtain information related to risk with the aim of getting feedback in order to make decision. Formulation of context basically have goals to understand the environment and limitations of the application of risk management in each unit or in each part of the organization. Risk analysis aims to determine the amount of risk management and the level of risk. We will discuss further. But yeah, the next one is the risk evaluation. Basically, determine the risk priority, expected residual risk amount or risk level, risk mitigation decision, and also key risk indicators. The last one is the risk mitigation, and basically it's the action to reduce or maintain the amount or main risk level until it reach the expected residual risk. Basically, the risk management process, as referred, is documented uh, to several kinds of documents like risk management charter, and then the risk management report. So yes, that's maybe the things that organizations should be underline about the process of the risk management. The next one, we will talk about the principles. Would you please to explain what are the principles of risk management?
Okay, thank you, Bunga, for the questions. So, based on our ministry, our minister regulation about risk management, there are 7 principles of risk management process. The first one is inclusive. That to be most effective, risk management should involve all stakeholders in appropriate and timely ways. So this will allow the different knowledge sets, views, and perception of all stakeholders to be considered. And then the second one is comprehensive and systematic. So to manage our risk, we have to be comprehensive and also systematic. We have to create and follow a comprehensive structure risk management approach so we can achieve the most desirable risk management outcomes. And then the third one is integrated with overall organizational process. So I think an organization should integrate its risk management efforts into all parts and activities of the organization. And then the fourth one is effective and efficient. It's clear enough. And then the other principle is that it should be based on the best available information. So to manage our risk, we have to consider the information from the past and present, as well as anticipating the future. So we have to use all the best available information. And then the other principle is that we have to manage our risk dynamically as the organization changes, including the external and internal context. Organization risk management program and efforts should also change. And then the last one is, of course, it's very important that we have to manage it by having a continuous improvement. So through experience and learning, risk management should be continually improved. So by our experience, we will have the better risk management effort. Okay, I think that's all I have in mind. And then the next questions for you, Bunga, is let me think. Uh, okay, what needs to be considered in estimating the level of impact of risk? Since it's kind of hard to estimate the level and impact of risk, so I want to know what is considered or what are considered.
Wow. Thank you, Mbak. What needs to be considered in estimating the level and impact of risk? The first one is estimating the possible risk level. The first one, estimation of the risk possibility level is carried out by measuring the probability of risk occurring within 1 year after considering the internal control system that are implemented and various factors that are, concerned by the management. And the second one, if the identified risk doesn't have historical data that are, related to the frequency of risk occurrence in the previous year, then the estimation of risk possibility level can be carried out using the other methods according the following things. First one is the estimation techniques. This is the approximate, methods that can be adjusted by the management, and then taking into account the expert opinion, and also using the consensus of the business process owner. And basically, the risk possibility level is determined based on the estimated risk probability according to the risk likelihood criteria. For the risk strategic initiative or maybe project, basically the things it becomes more, unique, since we have to see, or we have to make sure some conditions. First one, in the case of the strategic initiative or project of durations is maybe between 6 to 12 months, then the estimated risk possibility level is carried out for that period. The determination of the risk possibility using probability criteria in proportion for the provision in this regulation should be, adjusted by the project owner. In the case of the strategic initiative or project with the duration more than 1 year, or it can be, multi-years project, the risk of or the risk management that in this kind of field should identify the identification states, maybe the relevant impact area that is determined, and the impact estimation that is carried out by measuring the impact of the risk occurs after considering the implemented internal control system, a projection, and various factors or issues that are related to the risk. And the things that may be also important that we have also see that the risk impact level is determined based on the impact area and the estimated impact according to the risk impact criteria that already built by the top management or the top level of the risk owner. So yeah, that's all about how basically things that need to be considered in estimating the level and impact of risk. The next one is I would like to point out about what is, in your opinion, needs to be, prioritized in prioritizing risk.
Okay, thank you for the question, Bunga. Yeah, that's an interesting question. So, you already mentioned previously about risk evaluation as one of the process of risk management. Now, I want to elaborate of the very first step of the risk evaluation, which is risk priority. How to prioritize risk? How to prioritize risk? It's always like become a topic that many people wants to know. So I think first thing first, risk priority is sorted based on the risk magnitude of the highest to the lowest. And then in case there is more than one risk that has the same risk magnitude, then the risk priority is determined based on the order of the risk impact area from the highest to the lowest, of course, according to the risk impact criteria. And then in case there is more than one risk that has a risk magnitude and the same risk impact area too, then the risk priority is determined based on the order of priority of the risk category. And in case there is more than one risk that has the same magnitude, impact area, risk category, okay, then risk priorities are determined based on the assessment of decision or judgment of the leaders, top management. So of course, in the end, when we have like the same risk that we consider have the same impact, has the same magnitude, then it's based on the assessment or judgment of the management or the top leaders. Okay, I think that's all I have in mind. And then, okay, now to conclude our discussion, I want you to explain about how to implement the key risk indicator concept in the organization. As we may know, to evaluate risk, it's important to know about this concept too. So please explain it to us, Bunga.
Thank you, Mbak. Well, basically, according to the Committee of Sponsoring Organization or COSO, basically, key risk indicator is measured, used by the organization as indicator that becomes an early warning system. So if there is a change in risk exposure for several aspects of the organization, it can be, like an alarm or like a red lights that can help us to understand the real conditions. The risk exposure is a challenge faced by the organization that has a certain consequences. Risk exposure basically arise not because there is no internal control, but because of the inadequate of internal control. It can hold an organization from achieving its goals. And the things is risk exposure can come from within and outside the organization. So we don't only talk about the within organization risk, but also the outside one. The courage indicator is not just monitoring every challenge faced by the organization, but rather focus on the most critical indicators for the managing of the highest risk and will vary with the goals and prioritize the organization. The curious indicator used in a certain year period may not be the same as the key risk indicator like the used by the project that has multi-years timeline. The key risk indicator can be quantified using a statistical data or certain metrics using a certain formula so that they can be predicted and used as early warning signals or effective early warnings systems. Considering the key risk indicator is an important thing in organization or business, the indicators used must be designed very, very carefully. Declaring an effective key risk indicators means requiring us to better understand at least the goals of the organization and the risks that may affect those goals. Mapping that risk and developing a key risk indicator assists us or management, of understanding the disruptions or the potential of disruption that we may face in the future. An effective key risk indicator, if it has a good and measurable factors, has good indicators, must be has at least three indicators. The first one is, of course, measurable. The second one is it has to be predictable, and the last one is it has to be comparable. I mean, like here, we can track over a period of times, and of course, outside the three factors, it also have to be something that informational, measuring how the risk and control status, how it developed as a open document, so we can readjust time by the time following the real conditions of the organization that face. Basically, key risk indicators becomes an important part in the organization because the existence of it is possible to help us to know the early signal, and it can become a proactive action. So it can help a management to have an proactive actions. What basically we have to, what's basically the programs or maybe the action that we have to take. And with the existence of the curious indicator, the organization can learn more about the past event to be able to, make improvement in the future, and can obtain the real-time data, so it can be followed up by the immediately decisions of the management and also risk manager. So yeah, that's maybe the things about the curious indicator or maybe the curious assessment things. And this is also basically the closing questions of today's event. I would like to say thank you very much for your excitement of this episode. Thank you so much. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. And should you have any comments or ideas or maybe inputs regarding the update things in risk management or maybe control or maybe governance or maybe about the internal auditing, just please drop your thoughts in the column of the comment sections below, or you can also reach us through our LinkedIn at Gresika, Bunga, Sylvana, or Nur Imroatun Sholihat, and also our Instagram at Gresika.bunga or at Nur Imroatun. So guys, this is the end of this section. Thank you so much and stay safe you all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.